be?
Well, according to World Health Organization, immunization is a process whereby a person is made immune or resistant to an infectious disease. And typically, this is made through administration of vaccine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so how important is this? Because we know a lot of people, yes, they will believe in it, but we also have the other school of thought that have a lot of issues with it. But first of all, before we talk about the issues or the beliefs, right or wrong about immunization, how important is immunization?
Well, the importance cannot be overemphasized. It's extremely important because what it does is this. It prevents the person from getting that infection or the disease. And in some cases where the people end up getting the disease, what it does is that it reduces the severity of the disease. So it's not much.
Some of the common ailments that immunization has become very instrumental in reducing the occurrence or totally wiping it out.
Well, that would be polio.
Okay, yeah.
In the past, a lot of people came down with polio. We didn't know how to handle it. But when the vaccine was introduced, wow, it was a success. Right now, you barely see anyone coming down with polio. Yeah.
Okay, so among children, let's narrow it down to children. What if, I mean, you're a GP and you deal with this all days. If I was a mom watching this, tell me like the 5 top, you've got to get this immunization for your kids that you can explain to us.
That's the 5 important
ones that I'm thinking. Just, I mean, there are a lot, but give me your top 5 that you have to definitely get this.
Okay, according to the National Immunization Program schedule, there are several immunizations that are very important for every child, to get. But I'll just mention some very few. At birth, a child is supposed to have compulsorily BCG, OPV, that's for oral polio vaccine. The BCG is for tetanus toxoid, and then hepatitis B.
The BCG, what's that about? I know that's the one they give the kids on the arm or somewhere.
And that's the Bacillus calmette-guerin. It's actually for prevention of tuberculosis.
And it's compulsory?
Very compulsory, immediately after birth.
Immediately after birth?
Yeah. Then measles, but that's at 9 months, 6 months, we do Haemophilus influenza. At 6 weeks, at 6, 10, 14 weeks, there's something called the pentavalent 1, 2, 3. They comprise of Haemophilus influenza, hepatitis B,
and it prevents what?
I'm going to tell you about what they prevent. For the Haemophilus influenza type B, prevent the flu influenza. Then hepatitis B prevents hepatitis infection. Oral polio vaccine prevents polio. And then rotavirus is also very important at that age, and then pneumonia. Yeah.
Okay, there was a couple of months ago, there was this thing, like in my kids' school, a lot of the kids were coming down with chicken pox. And I thought to myself, is that not one of the things that, one of the things they should have taken before that age, immunization for that, because quite a number of them, and it was kind of like going round. So is that not one of the immunization that?
Yeah, it's also part of it. That's the varicella zoster. Yeah, that should be taken at 9 months. Yeah, to prevent that. However, giving a child that vaccine does not necessarily prevent the child from getting that infection. What it does is that, like I mentioned earlier, if the child eventually comes down with the disease, the severity will be reduced. Now, when you compare a child who is immunized with a child who hasn't gotten immunization, now if this child gets the disease and this other child gets it, now the severity of the disease in this child who did not get the vaccine will be more. Yeah. In some cases, children die. Yeah, so that's how important it is.
That's how. Now, this myth about immunization, some people talk about the fact that some of them cause paralysis. We hear so much. What's the source? Where did this thing, and it's not just in Nigeria, you hear about people outside Nigeria not taking vaccines and vaccination because they don't believe in it and they feel like it affects the child later in life. Where is this coming from?
Well, actually, there's something called adverse effects of vaccine, adverse effect of immunization. These are reactions, following immunization. Examples are fever, sore in that area where the immunization is given. Some children will even have pain, generalized body pain. However, I want you to know something, that most of the organizations responsible for preparing these vaccines and immunization, they ensure that it is safe before it is out there in the public. And there's actually a body, should anyone get immunization and then comes down with some of those adverse reactions, you can report to your primary healthcare center, and from there they can take it on. Yeah, there are other severe adverse effects to, like seizure, convulsion, but they are quite rare.
Rare.
Yeah.
Okay, I know there was, one of the things I wanted to ask you was the one for girls. There was this one that we were advertising some time ago, cervical cancer.
Okay.
Is that safe? Is that,
Yes, it is very, very safe. The advisory committee on immunization practices. Yeah, that's the body. We're actually advocating that girls and boys, not just girls. Girls and boys, ages 11, 12, respectively, get this vaccine. The idea is to introduce this vaccine before they get sexually exposed. To prevent cervical cancer. That's just the truth.
And that works.
Yeah, even some people are also advocating that it should be initiated even at age 9. So these days it's safe. Your child is 9, it's safe to have the vaccine. 11, 12 is safe.
It's safe to have it.
Before the exposure, sexual exposure.
Well, thank you so much, Doc. It was really interesting talking with you. And one of the things I liked was the debunking of the myth and the importance of having this immunization, because at the end of the day, it's important for the kids. Also, the fact that, I always just thought, honestly, I thought if you had immunization, because I couldn't understand this chickenpox going on in school, I thought if you had immunization, it would never happen. So I kind of was looking at those moms with bad eye, like you didn't give your kids immunization, but it can still occur.
Yes, it can still occur.
Okay, I could have been one of those moms. Thank you so much, Doris. It was a pleasure talking with you. We'll take a short break. When we come back, Dr. Clem is going to be having his private consultation with some of his patients, all happening here on Mother Care. Stay with us.
Dear viewers, it is good to have you on another episode of Moment with a Doctor. We will never be tired of giving you fresh episodes, because that is our business. We are concerned about your health, and we keep on bringing people you're already used to, doctors that are also concerned about you, and they are ready to educate you. And of course, we still have Dr. Edith Onove in the house, who is going to be discussing a very important topic with us. Dr. Onove, you are welcome to Moment with Doctor.
Thank you.
I know you've not forgotten my name. I still remain Clement, your uncle, for this segment of Mother Care. Now, what we are discussing today is something that some people will say, those who are Christians, the Bible says, go and multiply and fill the earth. And of course, the Muslim counterpart also believe that having children is God's gift. But how do you look at it from this perspective, that you have so many children that you cannot care for? Will God be happy? In my own personal opinion, no. So it is appropriate that we have the number of children that we can actually care for. And God will be happy with us if we give them the very best life, because that is what we can afford. So today's topic is family planning. What options do we have? What different types of family planning do we have that we could want to explore? And then choose the one that is best for us. So Dr. Onove, we are going to be discussing family planning. First of all, what do you think, what's your take on family planning generally?
Okay, for people who don't know what family planning is, there are different methods that are adopted to prevent pregnancies and unwanted pregnancies especially. And apart from preventing pregnancies, they help you space your children till when you are ready to have them. And there are different types. So usually family planning is usually user dependent, in that there are different types, so there are so many options that a woman can choose from. They have the natural family planning, that the woman uses her safe period, if you know how to calculate it, from your cycle. If you have a regular cycle, you can actually use the safe period. Though it has its drawback, in that it's less effective than other family planning, other methods. So if a woman can do that, yes, she can, but it is usually not advisable because the failure rate is high. Then apart from that one, for women who are breastfeeding, they can have amenorrhea for a while. During that period of amenorrhea, it is known that it is actually a safe period. It's called lactational amenorrhea, and during that period, you are less likely to get pregnant. Not that it is impossible for you to get pregnant. Then, if you leave that natural environment, you now go to the ones they call pills. This is the one that is most common among people that are not married. That's the one they use to prevent pregnancies. Then if you leave the pills, you now will get, the other option is hormonal method of family planning. In hormonal, you have different types too. You have the injectables, the ones that you take injections every 2 months, and then the other ones you take, it will sustain you for 3 months. Then there are other ones that you can also implant. They call it implanon. That will last for 3 to 5 years. You will see your doctor, they can explain better. Then the final one I want to mention here is the permanent family planning. That's where they do tubal ligation for women, and for men they do vasectomy.
You see, like I always said, I'm for everybody. The issue of vasectomy, you know what that means, the guys? It means that they're going to sever your spermatic cord. It's little surgery. But if you can do it, it's good. It's not the women that will be taking all the stress. Everything is woman, this and that, women. They don't have pills for us. You see, you did not mention barrier methods. There are some barrier methods where you have condom. Somebody once asked me, which is the best condom? Which is the most effective condom? I'm not here to advertise any form of condom by trade or by trademark or by name. But that one you feel that is very cheap. It's cheap because a lot of people have subsidized it. A lot of foundations have subsidized it. That's why it's for 20 naira, or it's for a pack, or 100 naira for a pack. It doesn't mean it has less quality. Compared to the one they are buying 500 naira, 3,000 naira, it does not show that it is more qualitative. But WHO has promoted a particular brand, and you could look for it yourself and do not look at the price if you like to use a barrier method like the male condom. Now the female condom is there, but it did not gain popularity in Nigeria at all. It's cumbersome, it's messy, so the ladies wouldn't want to use the female condom. But what are the setback with condom generally?
Usually it's that some men will say it reduces sensitivity.
Yeah.
That's the major setback, and for that reason most men avoid using it. That's the major setback. And then it can also break.
Yeah.
But let me use this opportunity to tell people that are not married, females that are married, that family planning is not only for married people. You can walk into any hospital and ask for injectable family planning if you want. You can even use the implanon. It's not only for spacing of children or for only married couple. But however, your partner should be somebody that you know the status. If he's clean, as in HIV and the other sexually transmitted infection. If both of you have screened and you are not ready to get married, you are not ready to start having children, you can actually adopt any of the family planning methods.
Sometimes I used to ask, if you are not ready, if you don't have teeth, so why do you eat meat? So anyway, guys, we have A, B, C. I remember very well that abstinence is actually the best. or be faithful if you are married, or if you are not married but you said, I can't wait, I cannot wait, I must have sex, then be faithful to a partner. And C, condom, barrier method for STI and other forms of sexually transmitted diseases. You know, you have to do some job for me. The last one is I'm going to answer some questions with me, and they come from your viewers. And this one, hi Doc, please, a HIV holder, that is a HIV positive individual, can he give birth to a child without HIV? This question is from Imo State.
Yes, it's possible. The person just needs to be, how do I put it? First of all, see your doctor, and then there are drugs they place you on that will reduce your viral load to the very minimal. In that state, you can actually have a child that is HIV negative.
Not just a child, children that are HIV negative. But you need to do the right thing by identifying yourself, accept it, they place you on drugs, your CD4 count is good, and then you can have a child that is healthy. Even during the time of pregnancy, you can be placed on drugs that will help you have a healthy baby. There are so many that if you look around, you'll be enlightened more on that. So don't worry. But we appreciate your question because that is why we are here. Dr. Nori, once again, thank you for being on this episode of Moment with Doctor.
You're welcome.
Tuberculosis. A total of 1.5 million people died from TB in 2018, including 251,000 people with HIV, as there were cases in all countries and age groups. Although global efforts to combat TB have saved an estimated 58 million lives since the year 2000, tuberculosis, TB, is a potentially serious infectious disease that mainly affects the lungs. It is caused by bacteria, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, that often affects the lungs, and it spreads from person to person through tiny droplets released into the air via coughs and sneezes. A person needs to inhale a few of these germs to become infected. TB also affects other parts of the body, including the kidneys, spine, or brain. Risk factors may include the weakened immune system, excessive alcohol, tobacco use, or living with someone infected with TB. About 1/4 of the world's population has latent TB, which means people have been infected by TB bacteria but are not ill with the disease and cannot transmit the disease. Symptoms for active TB include cough with sputum, blood, fever, night sweats, weight loss, chest pains, and weakness, which could lead to delays in seeking care and results in the transmission of the bacteria to others. Without treatment, tuberculosis can be fatal. In children, TB is particularly difficult to diagnose. They can get vaccinated with the Bacillus calmette-guerin (BCG) vaccine, as it can prevent severe tuberculosis. If you are infected, get adequate medical care to prevent the risk of transmission.
And that's our show today. We do hope that you had enough information and education, and of course that your knowledge was increased. Keep all your questions coming in and your comments. We'll try and address them as all the shows continue. Thank you to all our doctors in the house. It's been a pleasure having them on the show. But most of all, thank you for being there and sharing the time with us. My name is Marian, and we always say, being a mom, best job in the world. Thanks for watching.
On all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
The coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, has been declared by the World Health Organization as a global pandemic. While clinical trials are ongoing for a vaccine and a possible cure, there is no known treatment for the coronavirus. Nigeria has recorded some of these cases, and people are advised to take these preventive measures to keep themselves safe and contain the further spread of the virus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water, or use hand sanitizers all the time. Maintain social distancing. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Practice respiratory hygiene. If you have fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early. Do not panic. Stop the spread of unconfirmed news. Follow the official government news outlets and report all cases immediately. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There is no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
The coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, has been declared by the World Health Organization as a global pandemic. While clinical trials are ongoing for a vaccine and a possible cure, there is no known treatment for the coronavirus. Nigeria has recorded some of these cases, and people are advised to take these preventive measures to keep themselves safe and contain the further spread of the virus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water, or use hand sanitizers all the time. Maintain social distancing. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Practice respiratory hygiene. If you have fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early. Do not panic. Stop the spread of unconfirmed news. Follow the official government news outlets and report all cases immediately. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
This is the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. We now bring to you a special broadcast to the nation on the coronavirus pandemic by His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. President.
Fellow Nigerians, from the first signs that coronavirus or COVID-19 was turning into an epidemic and was officially declared a worldwide emergency, the federal government started planning preventive, containment, and curative measures in the event the disease hits Nigeria. The whole instruments of government are now mobilized to confront what has now become both a health emergency and an economic crisis. Nigeria, unfortunately, confirmed its first case on 27 February 2020. Since then, we have seen the number of confirmed cases rise slowly. By the morning of March 29, 2020, the total confirmed cases within Nigeria has risen to 97. Regrettably, we also had our first fatality, a former employee of PPMC who died on 23rd March 2020. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family in these very difficult times. We also pray for quick recovery for those infected and undergoing treatment. As of today, COVID-19 has no cure. Scientists around the world are working very hard to develop a vaccine. We are in touch with these institutions as they work towards a solution that will be certified by international and local medical authorities within the shortest possible time. For now, the best and most efficient way to avoid getting infected is through regular hygienic and sanitary practices, as well as social distancing. As individuals, we remain the greatest weapon to fight this pandemic. By washing our hands regularly with clean water and soap, disinfecting frequently used surfaces and areas, coughing into a tissue or elbow, and strictly adhering to infection prevention control measures in health facilities, we can contain this virus. Since the outbreak was reported in China, our government has been monitoring the situation closely and studying the various responses adopted by other countries. Indeed, the Director General of the Nigerian Center for Disease Control was one of the 10 global health leaders invited by the World Health Organization to visit China and understudy their response approach. I am personally very proud of Dr. Ihekweazu for doing this on behalf of all Nigerians. Since his return, the NCDC has been implementing numerous strategies and programs in Nigeria to ensure that the adverse impact of this virus on our country is minimized. We ask all Nigerians to support the work the Federal Ministry of Health and NCDC are doing, led by the Presidential Task Force. Although we have adopted strategies used globally, our implementation programs have been tailored to reflect our local realities. In Nigeria, we are taking a two-step approach. First, to protect the lives of our fellow Nigerians and residents living here, and second, to preserve the livelihoods of workers and business owners to ensure their families get through this very difficult time in dignity and with hope and peace of mind. To date, we have introduced healthcare measures, border security, fiscal and monetary policies in our response. We shall continue to do so